Positive rotation. Ignition. You guys have a nice flight. We'll see you back here.
Welcome to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast of the Illinois Air National Guard at Scott Air Force Base. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Brian Ellison. The Roll Call podcast focused on people, mission, and community. Thanks for listening. It's been a while. Coming up, my conversation with author and recruiter, Staff Sgt. Tawan Williams. He's one of the newest members to the recruiting team. I have been gone for quite a while. It feels like I've been at Joint Force Headquarters in Springfield working with the state's partnership program. I was helping the state get ready for a reunion between the Illinois Army Guard and their Polish Land Force counterparts. The two fought side by side during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Illinois was one of the first states to embed with their state partner, and it was the largest commitment of soldiers to their state partners. Some of the Illinois troops that were embedded with the task force, Task Force White Eagle, reunited with their Polish counterparts in Warsaw to begin with, then went on a whirlwind 3-day tour of Poland. I was part of that, and we were coming and going, but we learned a lot. We met with several Polish Army units. I was, like I said, part of one of those groups. I hope that the Air Guard can put together a trip like this. It was just, I learned so much about Polish history, including the Warsaw Uprising. They have an amazing museum dedicated to that 63-day battle that happened towards the end of World War II. And just the month before that, I went with the wing to Poland for our aviation detachment rotation at Powitz. The 126th flew daily missions refueling the Polish Air Force's F-16s. The wing also did the first hot refueling of a KC-135 in Eastern Europe. If you get the chance to go over to Poland with the wing or for our other state partnership opportunities, it's just a great way to see the bigger picture of our mission and to experience Poland. The 126th Air Refueling Wing is on Air Force Connect. It's an app that the Air Force has put out. You can find it anywhere you download your apps. Once it opens up, go to the bottom right, click on the star. It will take you to the Add More section, and just search for the 126th app. It shows all the Air Force units. It just luckily, we're 126, so we're near the top of the list. Tap the plus sign to the right, and you're in. You'll find wing information, schedules, news, and the proverbial more. Coming up here on Roll Call, we're going to be talking with Tawan Williams, Staff Sergeant Tawan Williams from the 126th Air Refueling Wing recruiting office. He'll talk about his book. Yep, he is an author. More on that.
Hi, my name's Senior Airman Gregory Goder. I'm part of the 126 Comptroller flight, and I'm a financial manager here. My day-to-day job would be, I'm an accounting technician basically, so I'm in charge of all the squadron's purchases. I make sure they hit the books correctly. What I like most about being in the 126 is I'm an AGR out here, so I work out here full-time. With that, I get a bunch of opportunities. Traveling is probably my favorite opportunity. I've been to a bunch of cool places like Washington State, which was the first time I've ever been there. I also play on the base softball team, so I get to travel with them quite a bit as well. I joined the Air National Guard because after college, I had a couple jobs I didn't really like, and I wanted to have an impactful career and make a difference on my community. I chose the 126 because I could pretty much stay around all my friends and family and still be part of the Air National Guard. I joined the Comptroller flight because my bachelor's in business management, and it kind of just fell hand in hand with working with finances. One huge benefit I've been taking advantage of is my full-time employment as an AGR. As an AGR, I get active duty pay, benefits, and everything that goes along with being active duty, but I get to stay home.
Hi, we are the 126 recruiting team. I'm Master Sergeant Heather Wilde, recruiting flight chief.
I'm Technical Sergeant Richard Olson, production recruiter. To learn more about career training with the 126, give us a call at 618-222-5701.
But wait, there's more. Give us a call in the next 5 minutes and you could qualify for 4 years of free college tuition.
Joining us today on Roll Call from the 126th Air Refueling Wing Recruiting Office, production recruiter, Staff Sergeant Tawan Williams. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it. It's been a while since I've had anybody since we've had a podcast.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
We have to also say that you're an author.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the book first. The book is called Life Stings, The Overcomer. Didn't understand why it was called Life Stings until I read the story about the Hornets. What were those called?
Yeah.
They weren't murder hornets, but they might as well have been.
Yeah, Agent Hornets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them, right?
They could be deadly.
Yeah. Boy, that was a scary scene in the book.
Yeah.
How'd the book come around?
Well, you actually have to go back to the work I was doing in the city of East St. Louis. I was writing this book. It took me about 7 years to write that book. I kept putting it down year after year because it was a book discussing some traumas that I incurred when I was a younger child, and I was seeing those same trends with some of the students I was running into. And I kept sharing my story to motivate them and encourage them to help them overcome their traumas. And I realized that I wasn't going to always be there. And so I began to develop this book so that they can have something always alongside of them for them to be able to overcome some obstacles that they may have in their lives. So the book came from the past of me running into situations and incurring these things that I knew that I overcame. And then I thought about that first time that I had an issue in life, and it stung.
It certainly stung. Yeah. I mean, well, you can go back to the foot incident as well.
Yeah.
You, I gotta say, you were a firebug, and I thought I liked fire when I was a kid. Boy, you really liked fire.
I did.
I mean, luckily, can I say nothing major happened, right? I mean, can we say nothing? I mean,
everybody lived.
Everybody lived. How about that? And if you want to find out more, we're here with Staff Sergeant Tawan Williams. His book is Life Stings, The Overcomer. How did the people the kids, right? You mentioned your kids in East St. Louis. How did they respond to that book?
Oh man, that book was a major shift for them, because not only able to grab a hold to a book and be able to read. Most of them read it in a matter of that day I gave it to them. They was giving it to. Actually, it was the parents that gravitated towards the book, because they realized the change in the kids over the years of me working with them, and they always wanted to know more about me personally. And so when they brought the books home, the parents read the books, and I found that the parents was able to utilize the information that was in the book to help them raise their kids and understand their kids' traumas, and knowing how to respond to some of the issues that they may be encountering on a day-to-day basis. There's daily traumas that we don't recognize as trauma. Okay. A lot of times somebody can get hit by a car. I'm 4 years old and I see that tragedy. That thing would be with me for the entire life of my time of me existing. Or if I see my parents get into an argument and someone stumbled over, whether they got hit or not, now it's in my head that my parents get in physical fights. The parents may have never known that was something I saw or experienced, but it's something that played in my head that I never was able to talk to someone about. And then every time something occurred in that manner, it triggers something. And we don't know what it is. We didn't realize it happened all the way back then. And trauma has to be dealt with, or it's going to continue to develop to be harder and harder on you in life. And I feel like, yes, traumas is across the board. It just look different.
Do you have a degree in psychology?
I don't.
So how did you, I mean, that's, how does, I mean, I don't think I have the self-awareness to go, oh, I'm reacting. How did you come about to know that you're reacting to trauma?
Self-help, self-studies, research. I have taken social work classes. I have taken psychology classes. I haven't completed degrees,
Sure.
but I have taken the basis of it and researched enough and went through personal trainings to understand the basis of what those things look like. And then I started to pay attention to it. I started to watch it over years after years, repetition after repetition of the same responses, the same reactions. And I started to understand that there's something wrong there. And that at that point, I began to dissect it and learn that some of these things, after talking to these teenagers and these young adults, finding that they act in a certain way. And then I dig all the way back until they 4 or 5 years old and find out that some of them have the same common errors in life, that things that took place in their life, which is why they respond in that way. And once they was able to talk about it and actually get that thing out of them and be able to face it head on, the whole dynamics of life had changed. And I was like, wow, it clicked. It's something that they dealt with for 10, 15 years, and a conversation about it that they can own themselves changed their whole lives.
That is, that's simply amazing. So you're in youth development. You mentor, is that right?
Yes.
In East St. Louis, youth development.
Yeah,
Well,
and life coach.
And life coach. Tell me more about this youth development and how long you've been doing it.
Well, I've been doing youth development for over a decade now. It's been about 12 years now that I've been doing life coaching and youth development, character development, and it came from me being a teenager, and all my other teenage friends and family looked towards me for advice, looked towards me for motivation and encouragement, looked towards me to do the right thing or the wrong thing. And whatever I was an influencer. It seemed as if I was influencing the reactions of others, and I had to really pay attention to it, because one day it was a pivotal moment in my life where my younger brother, he's 2.5 years younger than me, came home with all F's on his report card.
Right.
And my mom looked at the report card and snapped out on me. I was like, I was baffled. I was like, what's going on? Why am I getting in trouble? I got better grades. I'm good. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And she said, it's your fault he got all these F's. And I said, what you mean by that? You know, and I mean, she going in on me. And I'm like, dang, that's him got the F's. And she said, you bully him. You always picking on him. You always messing with him. I said, really? I thought I was just being a big brother. You know, that's what we do.
Right.
You know, and I had to sit back and think about that. And I was wondering why he was so angry all the time at school, fighting all the time, didn't want to listen to the teachers. And it was nobody but his older brother that he wanted to look up to, that he wanted to respect. And I'm turning around, taking advantage of that and bullying him. And at that moment, I realized that my influence means a lot and it affects a lot of people.
Right, and that's something you talk about in the book, is that scene with your mom and realizing what did you change? Did you change like right then and there, and just clicked in your head that like, hey, I just need to treat my brother better? And
well, if you knew my mom, you know that if she say do something, you better get it done quick. You better move fast. But at the same time, I was always a person who had a good heart. It was never my intentions to hurt or harm anybody. And so when that came to my reality, I began to work on it and try to work it out and figure it out. And I think the shift changed on both ends is when I decided to move with my dad. And I ended up turning my life over to Christ and trying to do right and be this positive person. And then my younger brother came over and he assumed that I was that same guy. And I was trying to get him to do something because it was a family member, passed away, whatever. And so everybody was at the house and he was acting out. And I was like, hey, bro, let's chill out with that. And we went to the room and I was trying to talk to him. He hit me like 3-4 times in the face.
Dang.
I'm like, yo, I ain't trying to fight you, bro. I love you. You done? And I said, all right, well, just get out my room. And from there, we became the closest ever because he realized that I wasn't attacking him anymore. I was only there to support and help him. And I believe that's when we became the best brothers ever.
So how did you get started in youth development? What brought you to that?
Well, I was looking for a second job, and I ended up working for the YMCA. They had after school program called 21st Century, and that's when I officially started doing youth development because they did the after school with the students. They come and do arts and crafts, sports, and homework, and it was to help them to get extra school time to spend in a safe environment. And so I did that, and then but I couldn't take care of my family off that part-time income. And one of my director, he said, "Hey, I know some people called Christian Activity Center in East St. Louis. I know that's where you're from, and I know that's where your heart is. They have a full-time position doing exactly what you're doing right now." And
nice.
And he said, "I introduce you." And so they helped me with my resume and got it over there to the director of the Christian Activity Center. And once I walked in, I got received with open arms. It was like I already had the job already, and they gave me the program called Pathways. They gave me the program as a college access program and career readiness. And I said, it's missing something. So I developed the character development part of it. And from there, it just went crazy. Everybody, all other programs started coming, trying to figure out the curriculum that we had put in place, had me coming to speak and try to set up their programs because those kids went from 13 kids to 50 to 75 kids coming Monday through Friday to 8 o'clock at night, did not want to leave, begged to stay, and they went from getting F's and D's to A's and B's. They wasn't going to graduate. I was asking, I said, "Oh, you all plan on graduating?" I can't even see our life past 18. What you mean graduate? I was like, wow. And so they most of them are in college. Some of them working on master's degrees. It was an amazing shift to see what took place. And it wasn't just my work. It was a work of a team. However, I was a pivotal part of it because I had to run it, I had to lead it, and I had to help develop it. So it was an amazing sight, and that let me know that I had a passion for what I did, and I had a purpose for what I do, and so I had to find ways to continue to do it and do it successfully.
So you're doing that as a volunteer now? I
do it as a volunteer now. I go down there and help them with test training now and character development.
How often do you do that?
It's about two times a week.
Oh, okay. Because you got a busy career now as a recruiter.
Yes. The recruiter life, jumping straight into recruiter life, it's been real good because now I get to go into schools,
right,
and also have the resources that they can use to accomplish the things I'm talking to them about. So all the things I was doing at first, I had to go and hunt down resources and avenues for them to be successful in their career or their choices in life. But now I have something I can hand to most of them and say, hey, here's a resource that you can use to pay for you to go to school. Here's a resource you can use to have income coming in or have a trade, a certificate, or have some discipline.
Right.
That's one reason I joined, because I needed some organizational skills and some discipline in the things I said I was going to do in life.
Staff Sgt. Williams just came out of recruiter school, and how was that for you?
Recruiting school, it goes around that recruiting school is the hardest tech school in all of the military.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be hard because you're learning how to sell something in a way.
It's a lot of strategies that we have to take place and learn. And it was challenging. But guess what? I'm back.
You're back.
I'm here. I'm in one piece. I'm doing the job. And so I made it.
Yeah, you made it. You put in one airman just last week?
Yeah, I did.
Right at the beginning of the fiscal year. You got another one coming in this afternoon.
Yeah,
So that's always...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got about 5 more on the books, working on getting them done.
That's great.
Yeah.
How have you worked your time as a youth mentor into what you do here in the military?
Well, the military, they looking for strong-minded individuals that can come in and get the job done and support the mission. My job is to find those individuals that's seeking something that will help them support their mission. and their mission is to get out of the situations they in and be successful in what they put their hands on. So my job is to be that middle person, help develop that individual, prepare them, get them ready, and then bring them and put them in front of someone who have the resources and tools to get them to where they're trying to go, which is helping the ones that's trying to get that mission accomplished with the bodies that they need.
What made you join the Air National Guard?
Okay, so I joined the Air National Guard for one reason. However, I always wanted to be in the military since high school, and I missed the opportunity several times. At my 27th year, I said in high school that if I'm not rich at 27, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Air Force. I didn't have a plan. I just said I was gonna be a millionaire, and if not, that's plan B is gonna be go to the Air Force. And I waited until the end of my 27th year, and they was like, "Well, you're too old," because the age was 27. And so I said, okay. So I left it alone. I continued on my life. And then I was talking to a good friend of mine, which was in the the Army National Guard. He's an officer in the Army National Guard. And he said, hey, the age is not 27 no more. It's 34 or 30, 38.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
something like
38,
that.
yeah.
But it's 39 now. So I said, oh, really? He didn't think I was going to go and do it. I called him the next day and was like, hey, I turned my paperwork in and I'm all set up, get ready to go. He was like, huh? I said, yeah, I did everything. I went the next day you told me. He said, oh, wow. And so he accepted me because I wanted him to be my mentor.
Right.
And I wanted to prove to him that I do what I'm supposed to do. And so from there he became my mentor, and he was helping me out with everything. And but I ended up, back to the question, I ended up joining the Air National Guard thinking I was going to the Army National Guard because I really wanted to go to the Air Force, but the Army National Guard at that time was paying for my tuition, my prior college loans.
Right.
And so I was like, well, I could get my loans paid off. So I went to the door and it was locked. And I said, ain't nobody up in here. And so I looked across and I saw the doors over there with the National Guard. And so I said, oh, they just moved in. So I went over there, turned my paperwork in, set up everything. And when I was getting ready to go to MEPS, my recruiter picked me up to take me to MEPS to take my test and everything. And they kept saying Air National Guard, Air National Guard. I was like, why do they keep saying Air National Guard? What's the Air National Guard? I never heard of Air National Guard. I only know of the Army. And so come to find out, I ended up in the Air National Guard instead, which I was so pumped and excited about, although they don't pay for prior student loans, but I got so many more better benefits that I was so excited. And so I ended up in the Air National Guard by mistake.
Hey, so what made you choose the 126th?
The 126, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
So when they said the 126 Air Refueling Wing, I was like, Air Refueling? And so I started learning more about Air Refueling. I was like, oh, that's awesome. You know, I actually came in to be security forces.
Right, okay.
Because I was going to go and take a job as a state trooper.
Oh.
And that was the whole reason I joined the Air National Guard. But once I started seeing what the mission was, and I started to see the jobs as a crew chief, I became a crew chief, and it was just downhill from there. I'm uphill from there because it was amazing. I love my job. I love what I did over there in the different positions I did, the deployments, the TDYs. But I knew that my passion was still missing somewhere. I was able to go and volunteer in the community and stuff, but it was still something I was missing. Because I went from the same thing when I was in electronic engineering. I have a degree in electronic engineering, and I was doing electronic repairs and stuff like that. And that same passion pushed me to developing youth. And I found myself doing the same thing for the aircraft. And it was just a reminder that my passion needs to be with these young people. And so I shifted all of that love that I had for those aircraft and maintaining it, and went back to maintain the work I was doing in the community. And that's how I ended up back in recruiting to get back in the schools and in front of these young folks. But 126 is a home for me. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, 17 years in the Army and regular Army, Army Guard, and I found a home here in the 126, and it's nice. It's great. I love it here. What's that like to be back in the schools? Talking to kids.
Oh, it's life for me. It's life for me. Yeah, they are different. These kids are completely different, but they are what my passion is. You know, I love to see them grow. I love to see them from 10, 12-year-olds, and then see them at 20-year-olds come across that bridge of teen life, and saw how they just tug of war from being a kid, being an adult, want to be an adult, want to be a kid every day of their life until they become an adult and they say, wow, I'm there. And for me to feel like I had a piece of that, being a part of that, knowing that it's so many people missing a father in their life, or just a clear-minded adult, you know, in their lives, and be able to help steer them in the right direction, or help the parent to get them in the right direction. Because a lot of times they just don't want to listen to the person in their house. They need to hear from somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
You get to go to East St. Louis High School and recruit there?
Oh yeah. That's one of my locations. That was one of my first picks.
Nice. So yeah, you get to see any of the same teachers there when you were there?
Well, it may be 1, 2 still around. I graduated 20 years ago, so so it's a few of them still around. But a lot of my classmates are the teachers and principals now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because I get to go and reminisce on some things that we did in school and look at some of these kids and like, you remember when we was doing that? Yeah. So let's not be ttoo hard on them. Let's figure it out.
That's great. You, like you said, you're from East St. Louis, and I remember growing up, Bob Shannon, right? Bob Shannon?
Yeah.
The head coach of East St. Louis Flyers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How's that football team doing?
Oh, they still rocking the house. They still making it happen. They got a big game in Mississippi this next weekend. Next weekend, I got a big game. I'm thinking about trying to make it out there. But yeah, Eastside still running the field. They're making it happen.
Yeah. We got to talk about East St. Louis. I know it gets a bad rep, but I mean it's got a lot of history to it.
A lot.
Yeah.
City of Champions.
Yeah. I mean, just talk about some of the people that are from there. I mean, one of my favorites, Miles Davis. Yeah. Is from there. I can only imagine. And I got a small connection to East St. Louis. Only that I think my grandparents met there because that was like the place to go in the 40s and 50s.
Oh yeah, Tina and Ike and
yeah, and you know
Miles Davis Elementary School is where I went.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that's so.
That's
cool.
how I found about Miles Davis.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Jackie Joyner's still making a lot of headway down there. She's still doing a lot of work.
Yeah, she's got her own center over there.
Yeah, I talked to her a couple of weeks ago. Yep.
Name dropper. I see her in the distance when I go someplace. Like, oh, hey.
She's very approachable.
Yeah. What kind of work is she? You ever team up with her to do some work? Yeah?
Yeah, I have.
What do you do with her?
Well, I actually do some volunteering down at the JJK as well. And they did a career fair and award ceremonies, and I kind of spoke there and participated in a few things there.
Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah. And I tell you what, somebody that made an impression on my life is from East St. Louis. The last sergeant major I had at AFN Europe, Latoya Sizer. I believe she graduated from. I think she graduated from East St. Louis. I'm not exactly sure, but she always told us to choose your attitude. That's one of the things that I remember from her. Now she's a doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Sizer.
Dr. Sizer.
Yeah. So. A lot of great. What's happening in East St. Louis these days?
Well, there's a lot of projects taking place in East St. Louis right now. They have state troopers headquarters moving down. They developing a lot of properties to move into, brand new houses. They doing a project Light Up the City, so they're gonna put tons of lights in them dark crevices and areas that's very necessary and very needed. And then they doing a huge hiring for the police force. So if anybody in the police arena that's trying to get their career field moving even further, they can go down to East St. Louis and apply for the police force. And they really going to be looking for quite a few folks. So they got a lot of big projects taking place in East St. Louis. That's going to help what I do for us the youth development, because now it's getting cleaned up more. The abandoned buildings getting tore down, the roads getting repaired. So that helps me to reach those teenagers not hiding in bandit buildings. They may be hanging out at the gas station or something where I can actually approach them and say, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. And so it's been, and then it's jobs that's been more available to a lot of people now. So if you got jobs, you got safe environments, people would do more safer things.
Right. Can you talk about jobs that you have opening here in when you talk to kids out in your recruiting? What do you tell them about the Guard? And what do you tell? Well, first, what do you tell them about the Air National Guard?
Well, what I tell them about the Air National Guard is first I ask them, in what way do you want to serve? Because whatever way you serve, you serve. But with the Air National Guard, it's almost you serve your way. I tell them this is the adult branch. That means you get to make a decision on what job you work, and you need to be accountable for the job you work. You know, you need to be an adult with the things you do, and you get to serve at home. So a lot of people are homebound. They want to be home around their families. I know back in East St. Louis, I know it's a lot going on, but we're very family oriented. We always want to be around our family, no matter if they good or bad. We want to be around them. So it's just knowing that you can be close to home and still serve your country. It's a huge, huge benefit. And the education is ridiculously crazy. Like, you can go to school and they will pay you to go to school. Like, not only you getting your tuition paid, you actually going to be able to buy food other than noodles and pizza. Right. So, I mean, I think the benefit of joining the Guard is huge because you get to go to school full time and you get to stay near your home,
right,
and not have to worry about.
A lot of kids interested in the Guard.
I get quite a few. A lot of people that afraid of going to the military is because they feel like they're going to get deployed or sent off to another country somewhere,
right, and
not be able to come home ever again. You know, and that's like the first thing they say. How are you going to send me off? I'm like, no, you get to serve right here at Scott Air Force Base.
That's awesome.
You know, and they be like, oh, really? For real? I said, yeah. And while you serving, you get to go to school full time. You go to school.
Right.
You ain't got to worry about, okay, I got to go do work. No, you go do your school. We want your education. Right. And so they excited about the fact they get to serve and go get their education and have some money in their pockets while they do it.
Is there like a particular job they wanna do, or they just like, I just want to come in?
They just want to go to school.
That's great.
Yeah. A lot of them think they want to do like infantry and stuff like that, but I'm like, do you really? Like,
do you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
But if the ones that do introduce them to security forces, and they find that it's a milder way of doing infantry, so they really they're really excited with the fact of the benefits of education, and being able to stay home while they serve is the two biggest things they can do.
That's great. So you were an older guy that joined the military. How old were you when you joined?
Yeah, I joined at 34.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I joined
There
at
is
34.
no way. I don't know if at 34 years old I could have put up with that.
It was tough. It was tough. Not only it was tough for me to go and do it. It was tough for my family. Married, 3 children, teenage boy, and 2 younger daughters. It wasn't easy at all. Which is why I ain't tell him I was joining.
Until afterwards? I
didn't tell him until I got officially in, where they was like, okay, you are going, you passed the test and all that stuff. I think I told my wife I was going to take a test for the Air Force. At that point is when she found out. But I already turned in all my paperwork and everything.
So what was your family's reaction?
Well, the reaction was, we can't deal with you being gone. We don't know what to do. Like, what we supposed to do with you being gone for that long? And so we took a little time to prep them up and get them prepared. But they understood the benefits that was going to come behind it. Yes, I'm be gone. Yes, no, neither one of us want to be away from each other. However, the benefits that's going to come with the medical benefits and the retirement packages and the stability financially, because I work for non-for-profit.
Right.
That money comes out of personal people pockets. If when something happened, they're gonna stop giving that money. I'm gonna stop having a check, and that happened a few times before. So me trying to take care of 3 children and a spouse with part-time income that's sometime coming in, I had to do a lot of hustling. I had to cut a lot of grass, cut a lot of hair, wire houses, put ceiling fans in. I had to do all types of work to make sure that we kept a roof over our head. So me joining the Guard at that age was a no-brainer for me, because I saw the stability. I don't have to worry about their medical situations. I know that I have at least this check coming in. And then all the TDY opportunities and then the full-time opportunities that came behind it. I was I don't think I was ever traditional.
Really?
Yeah, when I first came in, I did all my training. They added more time. I was able to do more training. Then I did a TDY. I went to Germany for a couple of weeks. Came back, did some more training. And then by the time I was done doing all this training, it was an opening for a position that I took a temporary AGR position, and then I deployed, and then I came back for another temporary AGR position. Then I took a permanent AGR position. So never really was traditional.
That's got to be it must have been exciting for your wife just to be able to know that she's got that stability too.
Oh yeah, they love it. Now we on base.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we just recently moved on base, and they love it. They got access to anything they need, and it's just awesome.
You went to basic, and then you went straight on to
Tech school.
Tech school?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How long's the tech school for, crew chief?
Crew chief, it was about 3 months. I think
Oh,
it was
that's
about
not
3 months.
too bad.
Yeah. So you had basic training, 8 weeks, and then we went off. It was like a week later, week and a half. My tech school started. So it took about 7 months total for the whole process.
Right. Tech school, where's that at?
Tech school was in Wichita Falls in Texas.
Oh, well,
yeah,
I was at Fort Sill, which is like 45 minutes north on 44,
okay.
I think. Yeah.
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 Well, I found something to do. I went to a rodeo for the first time in my life. It was like, yeah, we're going to go to a rodeo. I said, okay, whatever.
What'd you think of it?
It was a good time.
Yeah?
It was a good time.
What's that like being an older guy in basic training? Is there there's some benefits to it?
It was some benefits, and it was some hard times because you got to be accountable for the actions of everybody.
Right.
So if you got an 18-year-old knucklehead that's tripping, I got to deal with that too. I got to go and hit the deck, or I got to go and stand over here or miss this opportunity because they didn't want to act right. So I had to take a lot of leadership. And it was a lot of leadership that we took. And it was a few of us that was older.
Really?
The upper 20s and 30s. And so we controlled that whole area. And we was the #1 unit group out there because we made sure it was our MTIs and instructors. They didn't even have to do anything. We used to tell them, go ahead, we got this.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. You keep track of those guys from basic?
Oh yeah, I still got some good friends right now that I communicate with on the regular. In Georgia, Virginia, New York, Texas. I talked to quite a few of them. Post been making a visit out there soon.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right, thank you, Staff Sergeant Tawan Williams, production recruiter for the 126th Air Refueling Wing. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for sharing your
no
wisdom. He is the author of Life Stings, The Overcomer, and literally Life Stings.
Yeah.
You'll read about that story in the book, and a lot of great stories just about how you overcame and just you're a leader in East St. Louis.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to say, you never know how to nurture the seed unless you know the nature of the seed.
Well, there's a long list there. The things that I hear about every day, for example, suicides. We just had a report on disparity within the force, and there's a lot of instances in which people don't appear to be getting the same kind of results as other people. We got to work on that. We got to work on people's attitudes towards how they perceive people are treated versus how other people perceive they're treated. We're going to be implementing the Independent Review Commission on Sexual Assault recommendations pretty soon. There are issues with both housing insecurity because of increasing rents, and to a lesser extent with food insecurity in the force. All those things need to be addressed. At the same time, we need to be doing everything we can to develop people professionally so that they are prepared to deal with the types of threats we're going to have to deal with in the future.
If you're having thoughts of suicide or know someone in crisis, call the Military Crisis Line, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Press 1. There is a chat lifeline. Also, you can chat through their website, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. That's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Another way to get help is the crisis text line. Text HELP, that's HELP, to 838-255. The crisis text line, again, text the word HELP, HELP, to 838-255. You can find all of our links on Linktree, linktr.ee, 126ARW. Do you know we have Snapchat? Yep, I just put a story up there, or whatever the kids want to call a Snapchat. Also, I have put stuff on Instagram. Go ahead and check out our Instagram as well. You can find that on our Linktree. That's linktr.ee /126ARW. If you want to pass along some information, you can email roll call at 126ARW.pa.mm.org@us.af.mil. If you want to pass along some information, you can email roll call at 126.arw.pa.mm.org@us.af.mil. Thanks for listening to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast focused on people, mission, and community. I'm Master Sergeant Brian Ellison.
We're good on approach and landing.
500 stable.
$50, $30, $20, $10.